attention on the she has her full attention on the child, that she's being sweet, she's catering to his needs, she's catering to his tantrums and all of that, but then she has to get million things done too. So she
Okay.
is being sweet and doing greater things too. I mean, there is greatness in that sweetness, that she's catering to those little things that he needs, without worrying him too much. And I think that is a good analogy in my head when it comes to his sweetness is great. I don't know if I made sense.
Okay. So just like how a mother attends to the child with full attention and love, even though Krishna has millions of people or billions of people, uh, he attends to each and every person with the same love and attention. Is that what you're trying to say?
Yes,
Oh,
Prabhuji. Yes.
okay. Okay. That's beautiful. Yeah, that's beautiful. Anyone else? Yes.
So I probably don't have an analogy, but certain episodes that have happened in the life of Krishna,
Yeah,
is that can show us that how or why his sweetness is great.
okay.
The quality sweetness also comes from another quality which I think is directly proportional to it, which is being humble and humility. So we as in like today, in today's world, like we as normal human beings, even though we are devotees, but every one of us, we have our own karmas or we have our own flaws, right?
Yeah.
We are in the process of overcoming that, but sometimes we also fell victim to it.
Yeah.
Right? Now one episode is when a fruit seller comes to Krishna's house.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Poor old lady.
Yeah.
She probably has nothing with her.
Yeah.
And Krishna, being the little boy, goes and has no money or anything, and then
Yeah.
he asks for the fruits, and the lady knows that he has no money.
Yeah.
And even then, she just gives the fruits to Krishna without any expectation in return.
Yeah.
Okay. And later on, she sees that she's all dolled up in all the jewels and everything.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's one episode which comes to my mind when it comes to the quality, which is sweetness. Another situation or episode is, now at this time Krishna is all grown up. The Mahabharata is about to start.
Yeah.
Before that, he makes a one last final attempt to go to Hastinapur and talk to Duryodhana and everybody.
Yeah.
And obviously he gets insulted.
Yeah.
Right? From there on, he goes to Vidur's house to have dinner. Okay. And over there, Vidur's wife, she's so what's the word? I know the word in Hindi, which is called mohit. Right? She's
attracted
by Krishna himself, that she starts peeling bananas, and instead of feeding the banana, she throws away the banana and she's giving the banana peels to Krishna. And Krishna is so sweet. He knows what's going on, but even then he's not complaining.
Yeah.
Because he knows he's that he's in the association of his own devotees, and he starts eating the peels of bananas.
Yeah.
Until as the Vidur points out, like, hey, what are you doing?
Yeah.
So now, if today's world, if I go to someone's house or someone comes to my house and I start feeding them banana peels instead of bananas,
yeah, they'll get
people
mad.
will be like, Rosie, what's going on? They won't even try it.
Yeah, either they'll get mad or they'll think you're mad.
Even if I say that the banana peels are offered, have it, you're mad. What are you feeding? What are you feeding Krishna, and then what are you feeding us?
Yeah.
So I think these two episodes in itself, they show that Krishna's sweetness is great in itself, and it's unconditional.
Yeah. No, these are two perfect examples showing how sweet Krishna is.
Yeah.
But I'm looking for how Krishna's sweetness is great.
Okay. I don't know, it's great.
Okay, but before that, let me go back to previous class and tell how Krishna's greatness is sweet.
Okay.
Okay. So who remembers that from previous class? Rahul, do you remember?
No, Prabhuji, I don't.
Okay. Naresh?
Prabhuji, I remember we left with a question.
Oh, that's when, no, the question, before the question, only we discussed how Krishna's greatness is sweet.
Okay. Did we discuss? Okay.
Yeah, so maybe you went upstairs to pick up Abhi and go to temple.
Okay.
Yeah, so probably during that time, transition time. Swati or Sagarika, do you remember?
Prabhuji, I remember that much that it was using the same analogy of that of a mother.
Okay.
The greatness is sweet. Now I'm trying to recollect the exact details that I'm unable to recollect.
Okay, Sagarika.
So I don't usually attend the 5 p.m. class, Prabhuji. I attend the morning one, which is at 11 a.m. So unfortunately, like this is the 5 p.m. class I'm attending after like some weeks. So yes.
No, I think you were there last class, right?
Yeah, but I attended at 11 a.m. Like I attend the morning session.
Oh, you were there in the morning class.
Sunday, yes.
Okay, sure. Yeah. Okay. Now, if everything fails, then I go to Ashok.
We had an example where the president plays with his grandchildren.
Yeah.
So he becomes like a horse kind of thing where the grandchildren climb on him and play with him. So he's like a powerful person.
People
he's
online.
like a powerful person, the president, but he comes down to the children's level to play with them.
Yeah.
Similarly, Krishna or the God, he came as like a little boy in Vrindavan, and he was playing with his friends there.
Yeah.
And also when Mother Yashoda was trying to catch him, he was running away from her.
Yeah.
So that is the example we gave.
Okay. Yeah. Excellent. Yeah. So as I said, everything else fails, Ashok.
Yeah, Ashok Prabhuji. Good job. And now I remember the example of the president we discussed.
Yeah, now you remember that, right? Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, okay. So I'll give you a little context and then we'll elaborate on this and then we'll discuss more points. So chapter 7 and 9, Krishna gives glimpses of his opulences. Okay. Krishna starts speaking about himself starting from chapter 7. Okay. And at the end of chapter 6, Krishna says, Yoginam api sarvesham madgadhenantaratmana shraddhavan bhajate yoma same yukta tamo mataha. Of all yogis, one who abides in me with great faith and devotion, he is the topmost yogi. Of all yogis, that means of all karma yogis, jnana yogis, of all yogis, one who abides in me with great love and devotion, he is the topmost yogi. That means bhakti yogi. Bhakti yogi is the topmost yogi. So there Krishna introduced the word Shraddhavan bhajate yomam. Bhajate means worship. Shraddha is with faith, also with attentiveness. Now, to develop faith and to develop attentiveness, we need to know about the person. Okay, so let's say Swarit is new to this ISKCON Seattle congregation.
Yeah.
Now, to develop faith on Swarit, I need to know about him. Where is he from in India? What did he do there? When did he come to US? What does he like? What does he doesn't like? Everything. Then my faith level becomes stronger. And also attentiveness. So when you feel the presence of a person, then you become attentive. So now if I ask all of these online people to turn off their videos, okay, already two videos are turned off. 3 videos. Okay, now if I
Ready for the test, Prabhuji.
that was a test. So if I ask them to turn off the video, and if I don't see them, then they can do anything, right? They can listen to the class and do other things. They can even talk to their friend, or they can even eat food without sharing with us. So many things. So you are distracted, basically. Why you are distracted? Because you don't feel the presence of me. Or I could be doing the same thing, right? If I turn off my video and assume there are no in-person people here, so I could be doing the same thing, right? I could be talking in the class, but I could be doing something else. So I'll not be attentive. Minu, you are on mute, I think. You said something, but you're on.
Yes, I just realized that, Prabhu. I said, or else you could very well be playing a recording and we would be thinking that, yeah, you're talking,
Yes. Yeah, exactly. I could be playing a record of, 5 years ago. There was this joke, right? Gauranga Prabhu, you all know Gauranga Prabhu, right? He's very, popularly very well known. So he was giving lectures on Atma TV channel in India. So, and after a couple of years, Prabhuji got so busy and he did not have time to give a live session every time. So they kept on repeating the old recordings only. And then one person who was watching those videos, so he met with Gaurang Prabhu after 5 years or so. And then he said, Prabhuji, I have been watching Atma TV for last 5 years. And every video is very new and new content. I really like them all. Then Gaurang Prabhu had to tell him, what new video? We stopped delivering new content since last 3 years. It's the same content we have been delivering, the old content only. Yeah, I could be doing that, right? If I am offline. So basically, when you feel the presence of a person, you will be attentive. So now to make us feel Krishna's presence, Krishna starts speaking about himself from chapter 7 onwards. So for 2 reasons again, okay? This is a exam point. So Krishna explains about himself to increase faith and to increase our attentiveness. Okay, Shraddha. Shraddha can have 2 meanings, faith and attentiveness. So when you are attentive while doing service, then Krishna is pleased. Not only Krishna, right? Any of us. If you invite somebody to your home and then that person is sitting and you are sitting here and then you're looking at the wall and talking, how will that person feel? Anyway, most of the people do that. Or you are on the phone and then just talking randomly and casually. So how will that person feel? He'll not be happy. So similarly, Krishna will be pleased when you are attentive while doing your services. Any service, you're cutting vegetables, you keep thinking of Krishna in your mind. You keep chanting his name, either in your mind or aloud also, so that other people can hear and get benefit. So you're sweeping the floor, chant Krishna's name while doing that, or think of Krishna's pastime. As Farid mentioned, beautiful pastime. We used to have that poster actually. The fruit vendor pastime poster we used to have in the notice board. Every time I enter the temple, I used to look at that poster. And then every Sunday, there is a devotee. So she used to bring vegetables and fruits and vegetables from farm, and then used to sell in the temple. So I used to tell her, hey, you are like that fruit vendor here. So yeah, while sweeping the floor, you can think of some Krishna's pastime. Somehow you absorb your mind in Krishna and become attentive. Then Krishna is pleased. So in chapter 7, Krishna explains how we can feel his presence in this material world. So we narrated some verses, right? Rasoham apsu kaunteya prabhasmi shashi suryayo pranava sarva vedeshu shabdake paurusham rushu. Krishna says, I am the taste in the water. So whenever you drink water, you feel Krishna's presence. You think that the taste in the water comes from Krishna. And then Shabdake Paurusham Rishu Asoham Apsu Kaunteya Prabhasmi Shashi Shuryayo. I am the sun and moon. So whenever you see sun and moon, think that they are two eyes of Krishna. Sun and moon are two eyes of Krishna. So like that, there are various and Punyo Gandha Pradivyancha Tejas Chasmi Vibhavaso Jivanam Sarva Bhuteshu Tapaschasmi Tapasvishu. So the fragrance in the flowers comes from earth, and that is coming from Krishna. So different flowers produce different beautiful fragrance. That is coming from Krishna. So whenever you smell a flower, beautiful fragrance, think of it as coming from Krishna. So like that, Krishna is trying to make us to feel his presence by giving knowledge about himself. That's the chapter of the title, right? Knowledge about the absolute. Knowledge of the absolute, chapter 7. And then after you hear about Krishna, you attain a desire to obtain him. And that is chapter 8, Attaining the Supreme. So Krishna speaks the art of dying, art of living and art of dying. Bhagavad Gita teaches both art of living and art of dying. So art of dying is, if you think of Krishna at the time of death, then you go back to Krishna. If you think of something else, then you become that state. So whatever state, whatever you think at the time of death, that you will become in the next life. So, and then chapter 9 and 10. Chapter 9, Krishna starts giving more knowledge about himself, more knowledge about the relationship between Krishna and devotees, and how to perform devotional service. There are two famous verses, right? Patram pushpam phalam toyam yome bhaktya prayachyati tadaham bhaktyupakrutam ashnami prayatatmanaha. Bhakti is so simple that even if you offer a simple water, leaf, fruit, Krishna will accept. But only if you offer them with love. Only if you offer them with love and devotion. Krishna is only looking for that love. He's not looking for the offerings from us. Because he is fully opulent. You know, he is Bhagavan. He is the possessor of all the opulence. He's the possessor of all the opulence. He's the supreme proprietor, supreme controller, supreme enjoyer. He has everything. We don't have to offer any material ingredients to him. But he is looking for love in those offerings. And the next verse, 9.27, Yat karoshi yadashnasi yad juhoshi dadasi yat tapasyasi kaunteya tat kurushva mad arpanam. Whatever you do, whatever austerity you perform, do that as an offering to me. Krishna says, whatever you do, whatever you small or big thing you do that as an offering to me. And whatever austerities you perform, do that as an austerity for Krishna. So the first one, 9.26 is, you need to have love and devotion while offering those ingredients. But if you cannot do that, then Krishna says in 9.27, at least you do as an offering to me. If you cannot do that with love and devotion, at least do as an offering to me, as a formality. Okay, Krishna, I'm doing this for you, just simply as a formality. You may not have your complete love and devotion in that, but as a formality. So you make it as a habit, anything that you buy, any new thing, new clothes, new books or anything, you offer to Krishna and then start using them. We discussed that example, right? One devotee, he even offers medicine to Krishna. So Krishna does not need medicine, but if you make that as a habit to offer everything to Krishna, then you can offer anything and everything to Krishna. Medicine. It's a good habit. That concept is new to us, but that consciousness is great to offer everything to Krishna. Yeah. And if there is any contamination, Krishna purifies that and we take that. So it will work better. So, okay. And then that is chapter 9. So in chapter 7 and 9, Krishna gives glimpses of his opulence. After hearing that, Arjuna asks Krishna, please elaborate more about your opulences. And then Krishna says, I'll give you knowledge that is more better than what I have already explained to you. Chapter 7 and 9, he gave some glimpses of his opulence. Now in chapter 10, Krishna gives elaborative details about his opulences. Vibhuti Yoga. Okay, chapter 10, Vibhuti Yoga. So how we can connect to Krishna through his opulence. That is Vibhuti Yoga. Any chapter in Bhagavad Gita, how we can connect to Krishna through the message that he is giving. Karma Yoga, how we can connect to Krishna through karma. Jnana Yoga, how we can connect to Krishna through knowledge. And Vibhuti Yoga, how we can connect to Krishna through his opulence. So chapter 10, Krishna gives knowledge about his opulences. He describes how the potency in the greatest and mightiest things in this world comes from Krishna. He takes different segments in this world that we can see, and like great mountains, great elephants, powerful elephants, and so on. And he says, and he takes the prominent in that segment, and he says, I am that. Okay, of all the elephants, I am Airavata. Of all the immovable things, I am Himalayas. Of all the great mountains, I am Mount Meru. So like that, Krishna says, the potency or the power in the greatest and mightiest things comes from me. And then after hearing about his greatness or his opulences, Arjuna wanted to see, he asked Krishna, can you show your opulences in one place? You are saying everything comes from you. All the great things, everything comes from you. Can you show me everything? Can you show me everything in one place, including me, you, and everything? Then Krishna shows his universal form. Chapter 11, Krishna shows his universal form, where Arjuna was able to see everything, all the three worlds, the Svargaloka, Bhuloka, and Patalaloka, all the three worlds, including Arjuna, Krishna, and everyone on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, everybody. And what was the reason why Arjuna asked Krishna to show universal form?
He heard about all the opulences, so he wants to see what is, how great he is.
Okay. So he listened to all the opulences from Krishna, and then he just wanted to see. Okay. Anyone else?
He wanted us to know about his true form for our benefit, for all Arjuna's benefits.
No, universal form is not his true form. You remember something that we discussed from last class for our benefit. We discussed that, but what is that benefit?
Is it because a visual impression helps understanding better than, like talking about it?
No.
To differentiate who is God and anything else.
Yeah, So when everything fails, Ashok.
Ashok.
Ashoka Sharanam Mama. I think Rahul was about to say that answer, right, Rahul?
Something like that, Prabhuji.
Something like that. Yeah, I could read your mind. So, yeah. So Arjuna asked that question to Krishna to show the universal form for our own benefit. Because in today's world, if somebody comes and says that they are God, we see, right, in India, there are so many self-proclaimed godmen. So in India, every street, there is a self-proclaimed godman. Sorry, where are you from India, bro?
Haridwar.
Haridwar. Oh, okay. You're from holy place. Nice, nice. Okay. You might have seen many godmen there. Haridwar is full of godmen.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, there are genuine sadhus also.
Genuine sadhus, but yes.
There are so many godmen.
Makeshift.
Makeshift.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah, correct. That's a correct word. So if somebody comes like that, or you approach a spiritual organization where they say he is God, or where they say I'm not here to prove that I am God, I'm here to prove that you are God, some nonsensical thing. So first of all, he is not God and we are not God. So if somebody claims that they are God, you can verify by asking this question. Okay, all right, show me your universal form and I'll believe.
Prabhuji, people are still able to find excuses. You can only see the God form because if you're truly genuine devotee like Arjuna to Krishna, then I can show you.
No. Arjuna was not a genuine devotee. Arjuna was not a truly, self-realized devotee. By chapter 11, he was not he was not fully realized. He surrendered to Krishna, accepted him as guru, and asked him to instruct, but he was not completely realized until 18th chapter. He was not completely realized, where in 18th chapter he said, Karishe vachanam tava, I'm ready to do whatever you say now. Okay, that state was not there in chapter 11. So even though Arjuna was not a fully surrendered devotee, but Krishna gave the divine eyes to see the universal form. Krishna gave the divine eyes to see the universal form. Because first, Krishna displayed the universal form. And Arjuna could not see anything. Then Krishna said, I will give you the divine eyes and you'll be able to see it. So Krishna gave the divine eyes, then Arjuna was able to see. So you can ask that question. Give me divine eyes, then I'll be able to see. Yeah, seriously, this is not a joke, or this is not just for the topic of discussion, right? So this is a serious check of authenticity. If somebody is saying God, they should be able to show the universal form. Otherwise, he's bogus. Because when you are new to spirituality, you don't know who is a genuine guru, who is not genuine, who is claiming. You don't even know what's the definition of God. Okay, so Arjuna is asking for our own benefit. Okay, now and from there we jumped on to chapter 12, where we understood Krishna's sweetness. So in chapter 12 is titled as Devotional Service, Bhakti Yoga. Krishna explains the descending ladder of Bhakti Yoga. Descending ladder of Bhakti Yoga. So first Krishna says, fix your mind upon me and render devotional service. Fix your mind upon me, always think of me and render devotional service to me. And if you cannot do that, in the next verse, Krishna says, okay, so let me get my book. 1 second. These are the verses from chapter 12, verse 8 onwards. Okay. So verse 8, chapter 12, verse 8, Krishna is saying, just fix your mind upon me. Thus you will live in me always without a doubt. And then next verse, Krishna is saying, if you cannot fix your mind upon me without deviation, then follow the regulative principles, the Vaidhi Sadhana Bhakti. There are two things, right? Raganuga Bhakti and Vaidhi Sadhana Bhakti. Raganuga Bhakti is like spontaneous love for Krishna. So what's an example for spontaneous love? Spontaneous love.
Mother, child.
Mother and child. Okay. Mother and child. The mother will have spontaneous love for child, but the child may not have. So what's an example where two parties have spontaneous love for each of them, for each other?
Wife and husband, in some cases, maybe not all.
Prabhu, you are giving a wrong example. Wife and husband.
How about friends?
Friends.
Nature and being.
Huh? Nature
And being, yeah.
Nature and
Being like
nature and human beings. No. Yeah, we don't have spontaneous love for nature.
You sound so suspicious. It's only.
Devotee and God.
Is it for Krishna? Yeah. Love for Krishna. Is that instantaneous?
No, love for Krishna should be instantaneous. It should be spontaneous and instantaneous. But I'm looking for an analogy in the material world.
In the material world.
Yeah.
Nowadays, it's very common between a pet and a owner.
Pet and owner.
Or if you're walking down the street, someone sees a dog and then dog, they jump to the person jumps on the dog.
Yeah, pet and owner. I mean, it's not spontaneous love.
No, like suppose for example, if you have a dog.
Yeah.
I'm a dog lover, but I don't have a dog. But you're walking down the street and I see your dog and I'm like, oh, such a cute puppy.
Yeah.
And then the dog, obviously, it's a friendly dog when it comes to me. So that's spontaneous, but I don't know if it fits here.
Yeah. Wow.
Could it be how a kid gets attracted to his favorite candy or favorite toy or something like that there's spontaneous love for his?
I thought of like that with the.
No, I'm surprised.
Women and a necklace. I thought of similar thing, but with the women and jewelry.
Women and jewelry. Women and jewelry. Spontaneous love. Perfect. Okay. So I'm surprised. Did you all go to colleges or no? Huh? What did you all do in colleges? Study. Oh
no, I didn't.
Not
me. I didn't study.
We had like every week on assignment.
Ashok, I can understand. You are the most sincere.
I didn't. I will not lie. I did not study.
But others, okay, let me ask Rahul. Rahul, what did you do in your college?
I just studied to like get the degree and get out of it.
Oh, come on, don't give sincere answers today.
I think the mother and the child love is the most spontaneous, but I don't think any other.
Mother's love is spontaneous, but not the child's
But
love.
you're asking, yeah, you're asking like both ways, right? So that's what I was trying to think. But
come on, it's boyfriend's girlfriend's love. It's the love between boyfriend and girlfriend. That's spontaneous.
Something like love.
You agree?
Maybe not.
If both attracted to each other, then yes, it is spontaneous.
Yes,
Like
exactly.
physical attraction.
Yeah.
Mostly it is.
Yeah, it's not the perfect love. Okay. But when they are in love, it's a spontaneous love. So similarly, love for Krishna should be like that. It should be spontaneous, instantaneous.
Prem bhav.
Prem bhav, yes. Prem bhav is the highest stage.
Like gopis and the Krishna.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So
actually, I was talking to my mother this morning. It was her morning. It was her evening and my morning. And I asked this question from her.
Okay.
I was like, let me cheat.
Yeah.
So she was telling me about different kind of bhav. Like there's Vatsalya bhav, which is Yashoda Maiya and Krishna.
Yeah.
Then there's Sakha bhav, which is Sudama and Krishna.
Yes. Arjuna and Krishna. Also.
Yes.
Yeah. Friendship.
And then there is Prem bhav, which is gopis and the Krishna.
Madhurya.
And,
Madhurya ras.
Yeah, and that's what my mother said, that we as the devotee here, like the culture or in the association, we are in the same bhav.
Yes.
As gopis are with Krishna.
Yes. Raganuga bhakti.
Yes.
Yeah. Raganuga bhakti. Yeah. Spontaneous love. Yeah. So there are two types of bhakti: Raganuga bhakti and Vaidhi sadhana bhakti. So Krishna is saying, if you cannot do Raganuga bhakti, if you don't have spontaneous love for me, at least follow Vaidhi sadhana bhakti. Vaidhi sadhana bhakti is following regulative principles of worship. Okay, there's a process of worship given in Agama Shastra. So you follow that and worship Krishna with some paraphernalia. So that is what Krishna is talking about. At least follow the regulative principles of Bhakti Yoga. And that is one part. Other parts are like you follow the 4 regulative principles and try to chant holy name as many rounds as possible. Follow the 9 limbs of devotional service: Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, all those things. So until you attain Raganuga Bhakti, you follow Vaidhi Sadhana Bhakti. Okay. And even if you cannot do that, in the next verse, 12.10, Krishna says, just try to work for me. Just try to work for me. And I think Naresh gave an example, right? Like a pujari in the temple. We have 3 pujaris in the temple. They live in the temple and they work for Krishna all the time. They may not have spontaneous love for Krishna, but they're working for Krishna all the time. They're in the temple, living in the temple. They're not engaged in any other occupational duties. Okay, they're completely full-time. It's full-time job for them. Just like how we all have full-time jobs outside. It's a full-time job for them in-house. So, and not everybody can do that, right? Not everybody can live in the temple and become a pujari. So that's why Krishna is saying in the next verse, if you cannot do that, if you cannot work for me, then at least give up the results of your work. So do some charity to the temple and to the propagation of Krishna consciousness. Okay. And the last one, even if you cannot do that, cultivate knowledge. That's the last thing. So this is the descending ladder of Bhakti Yoga. So Krishna is just like a father or mother, right? If the child is not eating food, then mother will say, okay, no, at least eat one last bite. At least eat this last bite. And they take different names, right? This is mama's bite. This is atta's bite. This is grandpa's bite. So many things. Okay, at least eat this bite. If you cannot eat sabji, at least eat dal. If you cannot eat that yogurt rice, at least eat something else. So like that, the mother gives different options. because mother is so sweet, she gives different options and feeds the child. Just like that, Krishna is being so sweet here and offering different options to people at different levels, so that they all can connect with Krishna somehow or the other. So now, we discussed about Krishna's greatness and sweetness. Chapter 7, 9, 10, 11, they all talk about Krishna's greatness. And chapter 12 talks about Krishna's sweetness. Now we discussed in the last week class, we discussed how Krishna's greatness is sweet. So Krishna's greatness becomes sweet, or any person's greatness becomes sweet when they are approachable. When they are approachable. And Ashok gave an example, right? The president. So president, he is very powerful. President of United States, he's the most powerful person in the world. Now, such a powerful person, such a great person, when he goes home and starts playing with his son or grandson, he bends his back and he becomes a horse, and then lets the child sit on his back and then plays a horse game. And that's so sweet. Such a great person, the most powerful person in the world, he is coming to the level of the child and playing with him. That is sweetness. That is when his greatness becomes sweet. Now, the same game, it can be played by an ordinary person. Okay, like I can go and play the same game with the child. I'm an ordinary person. Okay, now I don't have any greatness. Now, when a person who is not so great or not powerful, when that person plays the same game, it doesn't become so sweet. It doesn't become so sweet. But when a greatest person and the most powerful person plays such a small game with the grandchild, that becomes more sweeter. So
like
that is
Krishna takes the slippers of Nand Maharaj, and then he puts it on his head or eats it in front of him.
Yes, yeah, that's also one example. And Minu, you quoted a lot of examples, right? You want to talk about those? The examples we quoted are perfect.
Prabhu, yeah, I'll have to read from the message. I don't remember all of them off the top of my head now.
Yeah, why don't you read?
So we are looking for examples of his greatness is sweet, correct?
Yeah, how Krishna's greatness is sweet.
So I wrote, though he's Bhagwan, born into royalty to Vasudeva and Devaki, he grows up in Vrindavan, a cow-herding clan or community. He herds cows. He played the flute, the sound which was so sweet or mellifluous that it mesmerized everyone that heard it. He was a playmate for the kids of Vrindavan. He was punished just the way every naughty child would be. He willingly allowed Mother Yashoda to reprimand him. When his friend Sudama or Kuchela, I don't know if both are one and the same, so I confuse them, like most times, came seeking help, but couldn't bring up courage to ask him. Krishna knew what was in his dear friend's mind and helped him with more than what he actually came looking for. So,
can you turn on this light? There's it. Yeah, go ahead.
And he has been merciful to people that have wronged him. He has even revealed himself to demons that wanted to slay him or destroy his supremacy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, go ahead.
Even though he is so great, he'll be whoever you want him to be. He doesn't enforce anything on you. He has given you the choice to choose. This is sweet again.
Yeah, and you gave some examples, right? Oh yeah, you spoke about that example. Kuchela, Sudama, Kuchela, Krishna. Yeah.
Yeah.
See, Krishna is so great. Krishna is so great. And when Sudama, Sudama, Kuchela, both are same.
Okay, that's
The Shastric name is Sudama. What is given in the scriptures is Sudama. But Kuchela is a colloquial name. I think mostly South Indians have that name, right? Yeah, Telugus, we use Kuchela. I think Tamilians, you also, right? Huh? Sudama only?
Yeah, the story Kuchela, we've heard, like both names. So especially, like when I actually watched Mahabharat as a kid, by R.P. Chaudhary. So Sudama is the name, like used there, right?
Yeah.
But when we listen to stories in the South, as you rightly said, Prabhu, it's, like Kuchela brought aval, which is, like the beaten rice.
The beaten rice.
Yes, to Krishna. So that's how, like we have heard the story down South. So yeah.
Yeah. So the name given in the Shastras is Sudama, but colloquial name mostly from South India is Kuchela.
Got it.
Yeah. So yeah, that's a perfect example, right? So Krishna is such an opulent person. And when Kuchela Sudama comes with puffed rice and in ragged clothes, he was even hesitant to, bring and offer that puffed rice to Krishna. He hides behind, and then Krishna asks, "What are you hiding behind?" Then, very hesitantly he offers that, and then Krishna eats that with great satisfaction. So, such a great person who is Bhagavan, who possesses all the opulence. Now he eats the puffed rice, the beaten rice, and that too, Sudama was carrying that in a cloth, piece of cloth, and that cloth is full of his sweat. It's in such kind of state, and Arjuna and Krishna ate that. So he comes down to the level of devotee and reciprocates. That is when his greatness becomes sweet. Yeah. So when a person is approachable, when a great person who is approachable, then they become sweet. Yeah.
Prabhu, one quick question. So earlier, when, like we were talking about 12, 10, 11, 12, he's giving us options. You mentioned this is a descending ladder. Descending ladder of what exactly? I didn't quite catch that.
Bhakti Yoga.
Bhakti Yoga, okay.
Descending ladder of Bhakti Yoga. So starting from the topmost stage to the lowest stage. These are the different rungs. The ladder has rungs, right?
Right.
These are the 5 different rungs on the Bhakti Yoga ladder. Starting from topmost to bottommost. Yeah.
Prabhu, I feel like the Damodar Leela is also kind of a greatness sweet because no one can capture Krishna, but he still allows to be.
Yes, very good. Yeah, Damodar Leela also is an example for how Krishna's greatness is sweet. Okay, he's the most powerful and mightiest, right? Nobody can bind him, but he let Mother Yashoda bind him out of love. No. Okay, and looking at Mother Yashoda's sincerity and her endeavor. She was, Mother Yashoda was dedicated. She was dedicated to, she was determined to bind Krishna. That's why she was getting all the ropes from the home and she was borrowing ropes from the neighbors' homes. She was determined, somehow or the other, I must bind Krishna. She was determined and then endeavor. These are 2 qualities, determination and endeavor. So every time Mother Yashoda was trying to bind Krishna, the rope was always 2 fingers short. 2 fingers short, length of 2 fingers. So if you put the length of 2 fingers, the rope was this much short always. And those 2 fingers represent determination and endeavor. So if you are determined and you make an attempt, then Krishna reciprocates. Krishna reciprocates and he lets you bind him with your love. So yeah, Damodar Leela is is another perfect example for this. How Krishna's greatness becomes sweet. Yeah. Okay, so now coming to that question, how Krishna's sweetness becomes great. How Krishna's sweetness becomes great. So Swati gave an example of mother and child. Okay, that's an example for sweetness. Okay, and Swarit gave an example of fruit vendor. That's also an example for sweetness. Did anyone else give an example for sweetness?
Prabhuji, I can think of I think the Shabari love for Rama.
Yeah.
So that's a sweetness. She makes sure that every fruit is sweet and tasteful. Lord Rama. So that's where unallied love becomes great. That's why Shabari is always become a great example of devotee.
Yeah, but there it's a devotee's love, right? Not Krishna's love. So we're talking about Krishna here. We're talking about Krishna, how his sweetness is great. How his sweetness is great. Yeah, no doubt. What Shabari did is
another example is Shishupala.
Yeah, Shishupala.
Shishupala, even like when it comes to Shishupala, he could tolerate 100 times.
Okay.
And then even when Krishna killed Shishupala, he still let Shishupala merge into Krishna. So there is no difference in the devotee or enemy at the end of the day for Krishna.
Yeah, that's a good example. Yes, that's a good example. Okay. Yeah, very good. That's a good example, Prabhu. So he's not partial between devotees and non-devotees. Okay. Okay, that's a good example. Anything else?
I think Krishna's role as a parthasarati is sweetness, and even though that he's great and he's doing the role of the charioteer, I think that is super sweet, and he's getting kicked by.
Yeah, that can be an example for the other one. Greatness becomes sweet. He's coming down. He's coming down to the level of not even devotee, actually, even lower than devotee. Lower than devotee. That's a menial position. Chariot driver. So, and he's ready to serve devotees. Instead of getting service from devotees, he's ready to serve his devotees as a menial, servant. So that's an example for how greatness becomes sweet. How Krishna's greatness is sweet.
Another example I can think of, Prabhuji, is when Krishna gets a headache, he accepts the dust.
He accepts the dust of gopis, right? Yeah.
So not sure which category it falls.
Yeah. It doesn't fall into any of these categories, actually. Option C, none of the above.
So there exists one that we are not discussing yet.
Yeah. Okay. So, Ashok, you are saying something.
I was thinking, his greatness is sweet. So that whatever he's showing, Krishna is showing, So it is also obviously great.
No, say it again.
Because his greatness, like his greatness is sweet.
Yeah.
So his sweetness is also great. Because such a
Okay.
person,
if A equals to B and B equals to C, A equals to C.
Yeah.
Very good. You must be a good mathematician.
And
What is that theory called?
I can think of.
I forgot. There is some.
A square plus B square equals to C.
No. If A equals to B and B equals to C, A is
equal to
automatically
C, okay.
transitive property. Correct. Transitive property. Yeah. No, in fact, I was also thinking on similar lines today. In the morning, I was contemplating on this. I was thinking on the similar lines. So even though we are differentiating these two, like Krishna's sweetness, greatness is sweet and sweetness is great. In one sense, they both can be interchanged.
Yes.
They both can be used interchangeably.
Like for example, they are very interchangeable in sense when Krishna is in the company of Radharani.
Yeah.
You know, most of the time we will see that we see these posters when Krishna is in the Sheet Sagar and he's laying down on the Sheshnag.
Yeah.
Then Rukmani Devi, she's like, massaging the feet of the Krishna.
Yeah.
But there are so many occurrences that we can see that Krishna goes ahead and massages the feet of Radharani.
Yes.
When she's tired from dancing. I think there's also one famous story in Braj that one time Krishna goes to Barsana. Okay, and before that, Radharani and Krishna, they had some quarrel. So Radharani didn't even allows him to enter, and she just shuns him. I like, get out of here! I don't want to see your face anymore.
The Mandir episode.
Yeah. And then Krishna goes ahead. He sits outside the house and he starts playing the flute.
Yeah.
So that's also a very sweet act towards Radharani.
Yeah.
So he's not, I don't think in this, like he's coming down because Radharani is like energy of Krishna himself.
Yeah.
So he's showing his sweetness or his sweet love towards Radharani, which is obviously no doubt. I think it's great.
Yeah. So
do you accept the answer?
Huh?
I don't know.
No. This is an example for
sweetness.
Krishna exhibiting his sweetness. Yeah. Okay. But yeah, as Ashok said, right? He is definitely very smart. That's why I said when everything fails, go to him. I was thinking the same thing today, actually. When I was looking at all these different examples, given by Minu and others, right? I was thinking many of them, they can be used interchangeably. So what is, for example, this example that you gave, right? Parthasarathi role. So he's, let's apply that to the first thing. Krishna's greatness becomes sweet. So he's great and he's coming down to the level of devotee or lower than devotee and then rendering service. Okay. So that is definitely Krishna's greatness becoming sweet. Okay. Some of the things that can be used interchangeably are okay, let's go back to Sudama example.
One more.
I
can think one more. Is Patram Pushpam Phalam Toyam, right?
Yeah.
So to gain the greatest love, Krishna allows us to.
He's giving a simple process. Yeah. He's giving a simple process.
So
yeah.
So
very good. Yeah, that's also good. Good example. So with a simple process, you can achieve the highest goal. So it's a simple, but you get the highest, greatest benefit. So that way, Krishna's sweetness that he is exhibiting in chapter 9, okay, that is his greatness. And all of these things, they are summarized in Madhurashtakam, as Minu wrote in the message, right? Actually, what I wanted to explain to this point, how Krishna's sweetness is great, there are two parts to it. So one part is Madhurashtakam, how it is explained in Madhurashtakam. Everything about Krishna is sweet. So Meenu, you want to talk about that?
Sorry, I was on mute. I didn't realize.
One second. I think some new person has joined. Sunil.
Yes, Prabhu.
Yeah. Oh, Sunil Malayalam. Okay. Yeah, thank you for that. Yeah. His last name is Malayalam. Are you Malayali? Sunil, are you Malayali?
Yes, Prabhu.
Oh, your last name is Malayalam and you are Malayali.
My name is Sunil Nair.
Oh, Sunil Nair. Somehow I stored your contact as Sunil Malayalam. Oh, my bad. And I'm thinking that's your last name. Oh, okay, good.
Then I was thinking maybe Sunil Prabhu came from a great dynasty.
Yeah, he is definitely, he definitely belongs to a great dynasty. He's everywhere. He lives in Redmond, but he does not have a car, but he's everywhere in the temple. Yeah. Whenever there is a program or any service, he's always there. Very nice. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, Meenu, go ahead.
So to quote Madhurashtakam here, so it goes like this: Adaram Maduram. I am a bad singer, so I won't even attempt it. I don't want to ruin the atmosphere of the class.
That's okay.
So Adaram Maduram, Vadanam Maduram, Nayanam Maduram, Hasitam Maduram, Hridayam Maduram, Gamanam Maduram, Madhuratipater, Rahilam Maduram. So basically the first stanza's meaning goes like this. Adaram is lips. So his lips are so sweet. Vadanam is his face. That's, sweet. Nayanam, his eyes are sweet. His smile, Hasitam, his smile is sweet. Hridayam, his heart is sweet. Gamanam, his walk, his gait is sweet. So everything about Krishna is actually sweet. And it goes on further. And there are about 8 stanzas. I didn't, completely give all the, stanzas. Yeah. But the nutshell is everything about Krishna is sweet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So
we can sing.
Yeah, maybe a couple of verses we can sing. By the way, the author who composed this prayer, Madhurashtakam, Vallabhacharya, he is a Telugu person. He is a Telugu person. So all Telugu people celebrate.
We'll see him as Indian, Prabhu.
Come on, after attending Bhagavad Gita class, you should say we are all souls.
That would have been a great answer, yes.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. So, as in this Madhurashtakam, it is mentioned, right? Everything about Krishna is sweet. His lips, his face, his walking, everything is sweet. And he is the emperor of sweetness. Madhuratipate akilam madhuram. Everything is sweet about the emperor of sweetness. Madhuratipate akilam madhuram. Everything is sweet about the emperor of sweetness. So there are so many things given. Let's try to sing it actually. We'll try to sing, but before that, let me complete what I wanted to say. So, how Krishna's sweetness is great can be explained by this Madhurashtakam. Okay, because there is nothing greater than Krishna's qualities. There is nothing greater than what is mentioned in this Madhurashtakam. There's nothing more beautiful, more nectarian, more, greater than what is described in, more sweeter than what is described in this Madhurashtakam. So that way, everything about all the sweet qualities of Krishna, they are the greatest. They are the greatest. There are no parallels to it. So that's how Krishna's sweetness is great. Krishna's sweetness is the greatest sweetness. Krishna's sweetness is the greatest sweetness. Just like how Krishna's opulence is the greatest opulence. He is the supreme proprietor of all the opulence. Similarly, he is the possessor of all the sweetness. No other sweetness is comparable to what Krishna possesses. So his sweetness is the greatest. Okay. Now,
Yes.
Spiritual diabetes.
No, I also had one thing, like
Yeah.
I think out of everything, what I like the most about him is all the teachings that we have, like especially like every single shlok or teaching that he says actually matches with what is correct. I mean, there is no absolute truth other than that. I feel like they're just all so good. I mean, they're all correct, and that is how it is supposed to be. So I think the fact that he has taught us this much through all his verses is what makes him the sweetest of all. So I used to always think about this thing, right? Like, I think everything other than that, like thoughts or like good morals, good stories, everything, whatever is there today, I feel somehow he has already taught us that in his human form. So I feel that is very sweet. Like, yeah, so I really like that fact. Like, if I go through Bhagavad Gita, it's like you can get the answers to any questions of your life, right? In any stage.
Yeah.
So yes, so that is also one thing which I think I like the most. So no matter in what form he is, how he looks, or what that is, but I think this is for me what makes him like the greatest.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that's also a good point.
And add to that, he's made it so easy. He's so considerate of all his devotees that he doesn't want the devotees to cross, like 7 seas, 7 mountains, go read all the Vedas to understand the absolute truth. He's, like taken the essence of everything and given to you in such, like simplified fashion. And he says, hey, this is what is the absolute truth, who you are, who I am, what is this planet, why are you here, what is your purpose, and what you need to do, like just this is enough, So that is his sweetness also.
Yeah, that shows his compassion, instead of us having to read all the Vedas and Upanishads, he summarized everything in Bhagavad Gita and made it easy for us. That shows his compassion for us, that's his sweetness. So, okay, so Madhurashtakam is one to explain how Krishna's sweetness is the greatest sweetness. Okay, and then in Bhagavatam, there is this point explained to tell how Krishna's sweetness is great. Okay, during Rasa Leela, when Krishna was playing with all the gopis and Radharani, then he was playing hide and seek, right? At one point, then he disappears. All of a sudden, he disappears. Then they're all in great anxiety, especially Radharani. She's in great anxiety. Okay. Oh, where to find Krishna now? They're feeling the separation and they're in great anxiety. Oh, where has Krishna gone now? Where do I find him? Then she starts looking around, and then Krishna, he takes the form of Vishnu, the four-handed form of Vishnu, and then appears in front of Radharani. And then Radharani asks that Vishnu, have you seen Krishna?
Yeah.
Have you seen Krishna? Then Krishna intentionally points to a different direction. Okay. And Radharani does not find Krishna there. So after repeated attempts, Radharani does not find Krishna. Then looking at her, great anxiety and her sincere love, Krishna melts in that 400 Vishnu form. He's melt, and then he withdraws two of his hands and transforms into two-handed Shamsundara Krishna, and then appears in front of Radharani. So the point to say here is Krishna's sweetness conquers his greatness. Krishna's sweetness conquers his own greatness. So Vishnu is opulent, right? That's a symbol of greatness.
Yes.
Opulence, greatness, Narayana Tattva or Vishnu Tattva. These are all symbols of opulence or greatness. So when you see Vishnu forms, you worship Vishnu with awe and reverence. You don't have a love, but you worship those forms with awe and reverence. You have high respect and because you consider them as the greatest things, right? So, but Krishna's sweetest form, the two-handed Shamasundara form, and his sweet exchange for Srimati Radharani conquered his own greatness. So he withdrew his Vishnu form and then appeared in front of Radharani as two-handed Krishna. So that's another thing to say, how Krishna's sweetness is great. Krishna's sweetness conquered his own greatness.
I got in a dilemma.
Huh?
I got in a dilemma.
You got in a dilemma? Okay. Yeah.
It's definitely a good point. Should we take that way, or Bhishma, when he's on the deathbed,
yeah,
he requests for 400 form because he has loved Vishnu.
Yes, he's in Vaikuntha Rasa. He's in Vaikuntha Rasa. Bhishmadev was in Vaikuntha Rasa.
Right, but Vishnu.
Yeah.
So then Krishna shows a form. So
yes,
should we take that? Should we say Krishna reciprocates love the way you want?
Yes.
Should we take that way, or should we? And here it's because Radharani, the personal form of Krishna, she has always revered and loved.
Yeah.
And she could only connect herself with the 200
Shamasundara form.
So
yeah.
Is which way? In Bhishma's case, should we say, can it become opposite? Like here, the greatness wins all sweetness.
That's a fact anyway. Krishna's greatness is also sweet, but no, you cannot apply that there.
Yeah.
Because Bhishmadev was in Vaikuntha Rasa. Yeah. That's why on the deathbed of arrows, he chanted Vishnu Sahasranama. Yeah. When Yudhishthira Maharaj came, so he chanted Vishnu Sahasranama. He could have chanted Krishna Ashtottara Shatanamavali or something like that, right? But he chanted Vishnu Sahasranama because he's in Vaikuntha Rasa. And he went back to Vaikuntha Loka. Right. Yeah. So another example, right?
They cannot go to Vrindavan or Goloka.
Yeah. Another example, right? When Hanuman saw Krishna in Dwaraka. Okay. So even though Hanuman is a great devotee and but he asked Krishna, can you show me that Ram, Rama avatar? Yeah. Because for Hanuman, that is what he connected with, right? So whatever you are connected with, you ask Krishna to show, but it is up to Krishna whether he wants to show or not. Yeah. So here, Radharani asked for Krishna, and then after repeated attempts, she could not find. She is in great anxiety. Then Krishna got melted, and out of his sweetness, he showed his form. Yeah. So is that clear to everyone? How Krishna's sweetness is great. So Minu, did you write?
I can add on that.
Yeah.
Like during the Mahabharata war.
Yeah.
Krishna is going out of the way to save Arjuna somehow. Like he doesn't follow the laws exactly to the point, but somehow there's a small thing which he can use and save Arjuna. So I can remember that when it comes to this sweetness, Prabhuji.
No,
Yeah, I just wanted to add.
No, explain that again.
During the Mahabharat war or the Mahabharat phase,
yeah,
Krishna always like somehow he saves Arjuna.
Yes.
Like not
But
following the law.
He was saving Krishna, Arjuna, and in the end, when
the Rath, it's
yeah,
time to get off the Rath.
Yeah, when he got off the Rath, it burnt into ashes, and then Arjuna was shocked to see that. Krishna explained all this while that Rath was saved because I was standing on the Rath. So yeah, so you are saying that is an example for Krishna's sweetness or greatness? Both.
Both, Prabhuji.
Huh? What is that?
Both, Prabhuji. Both.
Both. Okay. Yeah. It's his greatness, actually. Okay. It's his greatness. With his ability, he was able to sustain and protect the Rath and Arjuna. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Sorry, you have a question, right?
Yeah, I think it is answered, but I'll still ask.
Okay.
So throughout the Mahabharata period, okay, or the war, he is, protecting Arjuna.
Yeah.
And also imparting knowledge at the same time. Okay. So that is an prime example of his, one of the prime example of his greatness.
Yeah.
Now, when the war is going on, or before the war, Krishna takes a vow that I will not fight, or I will not take upon any arms or any weapon to help the Pandavas. Right?
Yeah.
But in between the war, what happens is there's a dialogue between Bhishma Pitama and Krishna or Arjuna, which provokes Krishna to such an extent that he is ready to break his promise, and he takes up an arm and about to go ahead and have a personal war with Bhishma. Now, but then Arjun reminds him of his promise, and then Krishna calms down and then he drops the arms or the weapon that he took upon.
Yeah.
Is that his greatness, or is that his sweetness that he's ready to break his promise for the love of his devotee or his friend?
So there is a reason why Krishna was fighting with Bhishma Dev.
Yeah.
So even though he took a vow that he will not take a weapon and fight, but he did that for a reason.
Yeah.
So does anyone know?
Bhishma Dev made a vow that he will make Krishna to take a weapon.
Yeah.
To fulfill his devotee's vow, Krishna did that. He is ready to break his own vows,
right,
to make sure the devotee's vows are fulfilled. So that is his sweetness. And also, Arjuna was not fighting properly with Bhishma Pitama. So to remind Arjuna how to fight
his duties. So is it a greatness or is it sweetness? Or is it both?
So it is his. No, first let me explain the reason why Krishna did that.
Yeah.
Then you will understand, whether it is greatness or sweetness. So he did that. Krishna did that to have an exchange with Bhishma Dev in chivalry rasa, virya rasa. Krishna wanted to express reciprocate with Bhishma Dev in virya rasa. We discussed about those 5 primary rasas and then 7 secondary rasas. I think 7 secondary rasas. Yeah. So 5 primary rasas. They are Vatsalya, Madhurya, Sakya, Dasya, Virya. 5 rasas, 5 primary rasas. 7 secondary rasas are Bhayanaka, Raudra, all those things. Bibhatsa, all those things. So Bhishma Dev wanted to, Bhishma Dev was also in Virya Rasa with Krishna.
Yeah.
So Krishna wanted to reciprocate in that rasa. That's why he was, in fact, he was enjoying that fight. Yeah. Krishna was enjoying and Bhishma Dev was enjoying that fight. Even though arrows were piercing him, he was very happy with that. Yeah. So this is the reason. Now let's try to understand whether it is his greatness or sweetness. It is obviously it is his sweetness.
Okay.
When he is reciprocating his love in any rasa, right?
Okay.
It is sweetness. Yeah. So, it is also great
because he's descending.
No, not because he's descending.
Okay.
It is also great because Krishna is putting his devotee's reputation at stake. See, Bhishma Dev, right? Now, Bhishma Dev is on the opposite side of the battlefield. Now, it is some arrangement, Krishna's arrangement. I mean, there are external reasons why Bhishma Dev was on the opposite side, but the internal reasons are Krishna made an arrangement to showcase an example to the world.
Yeah.
So he has put his devotee's reputation at stake and then fought with him. So that is also greatness.
Okay.
Yeah.
Both.
Okay. Yeah. No, not both. His sweetness becoming great. Sweetness becoming great. Okay. Yeah. Ravalika, we're all going to sing Madhurashtakam. Can you play Mridanga? It's in you both. Sanskriti, you play Kartal and one of you play Kartal, one of you play. Huh? You have to go? Okay. Okay, wait. Send Mridanga with her down. No, I put it in your room. My room. Yeah. Okay, so with that, we'll sing Madhurashtakam. Before that, anyone has anything on this sweetness, greatness? Greatness is sweet, sweetness is great.
One thing that I thought also here in the lecture Maharaj TV, Gopis, right?
Yeah.
Even the dust that got touched by Krishna's feet, is also sweet.
That touched by Krishna is also sweet. Yeah.
Oh, I think I may have one more example. I don't know if it's gonna fit here or not. So when Krishna was still in Nandgaon, he used to go to Vrindavan and take the cows for herding and grazing.
Yeah.
One time Yashoda Maiya, she makes these special shoes for Krishna. That that I don't want your feet to get hurt.
Yeah.
So I'm making shoes for you. You wear the shoes.
And then Krishna denies that.
Krishna denies that.
Yeah.
And seeing that Krishna has denied, and Krishna tells Yashoda Maiya that if all my 9 lakh cows can wear shoes, then only I'll wear.
Yeah, correct.
And then cows sees that Krishna has renounced the shoes, comfort of shoes for them. Then the cows with their hooves, they dig up the whole path.
Yes, and made it soft.
Make it softer for Krishna.
Made the dirt soft.
So I think this is also a reciprocation of love between the devotee and the God.
And Krishna, yes.
Which is again a very sweet exchange of love happening.
Yeah, renunciation, right? Being a Bhagavan, he renunciated everything.
Yes.
Yes. To reciprocate with the devotees, he renunciated everything.
Right.
Yeah. So that shows his sweetness and the sweetness becoming great. Yeah.
Even today, the Raj is very soft.
yeah. Even today, actually, even till today.
Even till today. Especially if you go to Vrindavan, there's this place inside of Vrindavan, Tatyasthal.
Yes.
So if you go there, it is
super soft.
It is like what is called memory foam.
Yeah. Correct. Memory foam.
Better than any memory foam.
Yes, it's so soft.
Yeah, very soft.
Yeah. So people go and they jump.
Yes.
Yeah, they release that softness.
Yeah.
Rahul, you're dropping off. Okay, sure. Okay, anyone else? Anything?
Prabhu, question here. I
Yeah.
didn't quite understand how putting a devotee's reputation at stake is great or is an example of greatness.
No, his sweetness becoming great.
This is, like in connection with or the example where he fought with Bhishma Dev, right?
Yeah.
And that's when you mentioned that he was actually putting his devotee's reputation at stake. And I didn't quite understand as to how that is actually his greatness.
So first of all, he was exhibiting, he was reciprocating with Bhishma Dev in Virya Rasa.
Correct.
His sweetness.
That is sweet, yes.
Okay. And how that sweetness is becoming great is even at the even by risking his devotee's reputation. See, when a devotee's reputation is spoiled, Krishna also feels bad, right?
Yeah.
When a child's when something happens to the child, more than the child, the father, is more than the child, the father is affected. The child may or may not realize that, but more than that, the father is affected. Yeah. So even by tolerating that, even to tolerate that, also Krishna exhibited this Virya Rasa and fought with Bhishma Dev.
Understood. Okay, it makes sense now. Okay, thank you, Prabhu.
Yeah. So now we'll go to. Okay, this is hiding here, right? Okay, now we're all going to sing Madhura Ashtakam. Karta? Yeah. Okay, bring Karta. You can play general beat. Can you play the Mridanga? Huh? Okay.
The last question that was asked in the group.
Yeah.
Is it for the group or is it this question like how can we associate Krishna within the 24 hours of the whole?
Oh yeah, that's another question, right? How can we convince yourself or how can you convince others that you can think of Krishna all the time, 24 hours? Yeah. So we'll discuss that. Thanks for reminding. We'll discuss that after this Madhura Ashtakam. Yeah. Good. So we need people like you.
Prabhuji always comes with these intriguing questions. And sometimes provides some option and then hide the main option.
So this sweetness, greatness, sweetness is like A, B, B, C. It's like that. A, B, B, C like that. Okay. So it's Ashtakam. There are 8 stanzas. What happened? Keyboard setup assistant. Yeah. So is everyone ready?
Yes.
Okay. So we have Meenu, Sunil, Swati, Swapna, Sagarika, everybody except Rahul. Okay, Rahul was going to airport to pick up his brother. Okay. So I'll sing one line and you all can repeat. Adharam madhuram vadanam madhuram.
Adharam madhuram vadanam madhuram.
Nayanam madhuram hasitam madhuram.
Madhuram hasitam madhuram.
Hrudayam madhuram gamanam madhuram.
Hridayam madhuram gamanam madhuram.
Madhuratipaterakilam madhuram.
Madhuratipaterakilam madhuram.
Vachanam maduram charitam maduram.
Vachanam maduram charitam maduram.
Vasanam maduram valitam maduram.
Vasanam maduram valitam maduram.
Chalitam maduram brahmitam maduram.
Chalitam maduram brahmitam maduram.
Madhuratipaterakilam maduram.
Maduram.
Venur maduro, venur madura. Anjir madura, padau madura. Nrityam madhuram satyam maduram.
Maduram.
Madhuratipaterakilam maduram. Geetam maduram, geetam maduram. Bhuktam maduram, suktam maduram. Rupam maduram, tilakam maduram. Madhuradhipaterakilam maduram. Karanam maduram, karanam maduram. Haranam maduram, ramanam maduram. Samitam maduram, samitam maduram. Madhuradhipaterakilam maduram. Gunja madura, mala madura. Yamuna madura, vichi madura. Salilam maduram, kamalam maduram. Madhuradhipaterakilam maduram. Gopi madura, leela madura. Bhuktam maduram, bhuktam maduram. Rastam maduram, shishtam maduram. Madhuradhipaterakilam maduram. Gopa madura, gavo madura. Yashtir madura, shrishtir madura. Lalitam maduram, palitam maduram madhuradhipaterakilam maduram madaram maduram vadanam maduram nayanam maduram hasitam maduram hridayam maduram gamanam maduram madhuradhipaterakilam maduram madharam maduram vadanam maduram
Maduram, Vadanam, Maduram,
madharam maduram vadanam maduram
Maduram, Vadanam, Maduram,
madhuradhipaterakilam maduram
Adipate, Rakitam, Maduram.
Okay, wonderful. We can read the translation. We can go around the table or the room or whatever, or Zoom. Okay, Ralika.
His lips are sweet.
Louder.
His lips are sweet. His face is sweet. His eyes are sweet. His smile is sweet. His heart is sweet. His gait is sweet. Everything is sweet about the Emperor of Sweetness.
Abhi. Louder.
His words are sweet. His character is sweet. His dress is sweet. His belly folds are sweet. His movements are sweet. His wandering is sweet. Everything is sweet about the Emperor of Sweetness.
Parna?
His singing is sweet. His yellow cloth is sweet. His eating is sweet. His sleeping is sweet. His beauty is sweet. His tilaka is sweet. Everything is sweet about the Emperor of Sweetness.
You missed third one.
Oh, so sorry.
Okay, Naresh.
Yeah, the third one. His flute is sweet. His foot dust is sweet. His hands are sweet. His feet are sweet. His dancing is sweet. His friendship is sweet. Everything is sweet about the Emperor of Sweetness.
Ashok, sorry.
His deeds are sweet. His liberating is sweet. His stealing is sweet. His loves for are sweet. His oblations are sweet. His tranquility is sweet. Everything is sweet about the Emperor of Sweetness.
Ashok.
His Kunjabari necklace is sweet. His flower garland is sweet. His Yamuna river is sweet. His ripples are sweet. His water is sweet. His lotuses are sweet. Everything is sweet about the Emperor of Sweetness.
Okay, Minu.
His cowherd girl friends are sweet, and his divine play is sweet. His union is sweet. His rescue is sweet. His glances are sweet, and his etiquette is sweet. Everything is sweet about the Emperor of Sweetness.
Okay, Sagarika. She's still there? Yeah.
I don't have that direction. That
No, but I'm not sharing the screen. Oh, okay. Okay, let me share the screen. You can read from here. You see it now?
No.
It is yet to come up, Prabhu.
Really?
Yeah.
You have to share it from your phone, probably.
Connect your phone, iPad. Why it is showing this? Okay. Yeah, I did share screen. Okay.
Try clicking it again.
Yeah.
Okay, this thing.
No, you're pressing. Okay, go back. I know what you're doing wrong.
Okay, let me stop share. And then share.
Click this.
Okay.
You're pressing over here. You have to directly go to share.
Okay. I see. I see what you're saying.
Yeah,
Okay, now. Can you see it now, Sagri?
Yes.
Yeah, the
I
last
can.
one, eighth one.
His Gopas, cowherd boys, are sweet. His cows are sweet. His staff is sweet. His creation is sweet. His trampling is sweet. His fruitfulness is sweet. Everything is sweet about the Emperor of Sweetness.
Okay, very good. Beautiful words. So you can meditate on this verse every day.
Yeah.
So throughout the time, you can meditate on this. Okay. Any points for discussion before we wrap up?
That last question.
Oh, the last question. Yeah, we'll discuss that question. And before that, okay. So that second question, right? How can you convince yourself, or how can you convince anyone to think of Krishna all the time? So what are the answers?
In one of the classes we talked about like how newly married women or like someone who's in love, they're thinking about their lover the whole day, just in the background, even though she's doing all the activities, she's still thinking about it.
Yeah.
So similarly, I think we can also develop, love for Krishna. So he's always in our background.
Yeah.
Thinking.
That's a good point. Yes, that's a very good point. Okay. Anyone else? Anything?
It is difficult for me. That's why I fall down in the other things that Krishna suggested.
So which category do you fall into?
Yeah.
Which category do you fall into? There are 5.
Accumulation of knowledge in the bottom.
Cultivation of knowledge. Okay.
For me, it's Shravanam Prabhuji. Always listen to others speak about Krishna, his pastimes. So then what happens is like those are the things which are running in my mind even though I'm doing work throughout the day.
Yeah.
So either it would be stories of Bhagavatam or Ramayana or anything related to the God, even the Damodara Ashtakam. Recently I started listening to it. And I hymn it throughout the day or whenever it's there in my mind, it's registered.
Yeah.
So for me, like when I'm working, listening to lectures, songs works for me. So that's how I remember God throughout the day. And how to influence others is like we can.
So what you are explaining is the process.
It's a process.
Okay? And like Aparna explained, right? Analogy. I'm looking for an analogy.
Okay.
So using an analogy, how can you convince yourself or convince others that you can think of Krishna all the time, 24 hours?
First child.
Child, okay.
First child.
Mother and child,
First
parent.
child.
Huh?
Yeah,
Oh, first child, you're saying.
Yeah, first child.
Yeah. Okay. Like how? Elaborate. Can you elaborate on that?
The day one, the kid comes, right? So it's fully, our mind is fully attentive. What's happening? Like,
yeah.
Everything taken care, every step, every minute details.
Yeah.
Think about it.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
Whether hungry or movements are uncomfortable. So you bring a, everything you see, you bring a description of what could be happening.
Yeah.
Right. Smile is what could he be dreaming?
Yeah.
What could be making him happy?
Yeah.
If he's a little bit sad, what could be, like so much imagination. So I think happens when the first child is there.
Yeah.
Again, when we have the second child, automatically drops down.
Yeah.
But every small detail is, well thought. Everything.
Yeah.
So if you can do about Krishna, like what Krishna could be doing, is he hungry now?
Yeah.
I think going into that kind of mode, and it's possible.
Yeah. Somebody asked, right? Rahul or somebody asked, what is Krishna doing now? What may be Krishna doing now? So yeah, correct. As Aparna said, maybe Krishna is missing me.
If you're in a mode that is rather taking care of Krishna,
yeah,
as her love reduced over these years, If we genuinely can feel those things, I think it is again as ultimate for anybody to feel that.
Excellent. Actually, using parent and child relation, you can understand many, you can understand much of philosophy. So many things in Bhagavad Gita you can understand with the parent-child relationship. So, yeah, that's an excellent example. Yeah,
I think it's a father or mother. I think it's at least in my experience.
Yeah.
Father experience is no less.
Yeah. So that's good. Anything else, Swarit? Do you have anything to say? You have a nice tattoo. Is it Hare Krishna Mahamantra?
Yes.
Oh wow, beautiful.
I don't have an analogy, but I can share a personal experience.
Yeah.
You know, two personal experience I can share with everybody here.
Mhm.
First is when I just told you, before the class started, we used to have a Mexican grocery store in a very small town.
Yeah.
So only 3,000 people,
Mhm.
and nobody in the whole town. 3,000 people, and there was another small town near to us, another 5,000. So among the 8,000 people present, nobody in their whole lifetime ever heard the name Krishna. What it?
Yeah.
Two of my friends in that town, they knew Shiva, and they only knew Shiva because of the movie Indiana Jones.
Okay.
And the Temple of Doom. Okay, that is the only reason.
Yeah.
And they know how to say Om Namah Shiva.
Yeah.
Okay. So every time they would meet me and they would be like, Om Namah Shiva, Om Namah Shiva. Like, it's okay, you keep doing it.
Yeah.
Its effect will come sooner or later. It's all right.
Yeah.
That is, he's also a very high level Vaishnava, so you do that. So when I used to open my store early in the morning, I used to open like 6 in the morning.
Yeah.
And it was my habit that when I will open the store, I'll put some of the other kind of bhajan. Mostly I used to put Madhava Prabhu's kirtans that he used to do in Mayapur.
Yeah.
Because it's usually like 1 or 2 hours long, and I don't have to interrupt or anything. So now in that town, maximum people who are coming in the morning, they are Mexicans, because a lot of orchards are there, and about, I can say 95% of the orchard labor is Mexican.
Yeah.
Either they're coming from Mexico or they're from Mexican origin.
Yeah.
And again, let's say that, you go to a Mexican store, or I go to a Mexican store and I hear some Mexican music. I don't know what it is. And it's the same experience for them.
Yeah.
They're listening to this bhajan of Krishna. They don't know what it is, but many times, not one, but multiple times, a lot of those people, they later on became my friends, and they're like, this is beautiful. Whatever you're playing, this is beautiful. It reminds me of Mexico.
Okay.
It reminds me of how we pray in church in Mexico. So that is maybe one of the way you can try and convince or influence others to get into bhakti. And my personal experience is, when I came here on this side of the mountains, I have to do a lot of driving nowadays. I'm driving from one point to another place, one place. So mostly earlier when I was doing the driving, because I love hiking. So from Eastern Washington to coming here is 2 hours of drive time.
Yeah.
So when I was driving, I would play some kind of, music, upbeat music, like that. So I will stay awake. But ever since I came here, from 1st of March, I started playing my playlist that I have. I have that in SoundCloud app. Very beautiful app. You just keeps adding music on its own.
Yeah.
So I discussed this with my mother too about, I would say 3 or 4 weeks ago. So what I have experienced with what is happening with me now is, first of all, it does not matter what time I'm sleeping.
Yeah.
Whether I sleep at 9 or whether because of some circumstances, I'm sleeping at 12 or 1. My eyes will open between 4 to 6.
Yeah.
And the moment my eyes will open, I don't even have to chant Krishna. It's like a tape recorder playing inside of it. I feel like it's here. That is where I feel. I don't feel it here. I feel it here.
Yeah.
And even if I'm ignoring it, You know, I'll take up my phone, I'll try and call my mother, read her message or listen to her voicemail.
Yeah.
Or maybe some other relative or a friend. And if I'm reading it, as soon as my reading is done, it will start playing again in my own mind.
Yeah.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. And I'm like, what is this going on? I never intended this to happen to me.
Yeah.
You know, not that I never intended. I love it that it happened to me.
Yeah.
And then
but
I
you
could
never
not understand
practiced
why.
or expected.
I never,
to
because
happen.
like people, my mother, she, with the grace of Krishna, God bless her heart, I think in Chaturmas, she chants around 64 rounds.
Oh, wow. Nice.
Okay. And I probably won't even chant 4 rounds.
She's in Haridwar?
No, she is very blessed, Prabhu. She is, right now she's in Delhi because she has some ailment. So she's trying to get treatment.
Okay.
But she lives in Nandgaon.
Oh, Nandgaon.
Yeah.
Oh, wonderful. Wow.
Yes, she lives in Nandgaon.
Oh.
So even she says that it's not happening to me. How is it happening to you? I don't know. I'm just listening to the mantras or the bhajan when I'm driving, and that is it. In morning, I offer my prayers, but what I realize, my realization is any sort of constant remembrance.
Yes.
Or in any form, any sort of constant remembrance or constant association,
constant hearing, yeah.
Either devotees or Bhagavad. Some people can read Bhagavad Gita. I'm a very lame or lazy reader. 4 lines and I'm already feeling drowsy. Okay, so
we have an expert here.
I'm not a very. I cannot, like, people read. Maybe some people can read Bhagavad Gita in 1 week.
Yeah.
Like I'm reading, I cannot do that. I'm not built like that.
Yeah.
But I think, like, because I'm listening to constant bhajan all the time, at least like 6 hours or 5 hours in a day, that has transformed into, that is now like
you're like programmed. You're like programmed,
or it's now in me.
Yeah.
So not 24 hours, but I think when I wake up at 4 or 6.
Yeah.
Up till 10, it goes in me.
Yeah.
Then it stops because now I'm doing other activities.
Yeah. Yeah. So, excellent. Because the same principle, right? In software, we have GIGO.
Yeah.
Garbage in, garbage out.
Yeah.
Good in,
good out.
Good out.
Yeah. Correct.
So same principle. Yeah.
Machine learning. In machine learning,
yeah.
What you feed. If it's garbage, you will get garbage.
Yes. Yeah. So yeah, that's a beautiful point. Yeah. Thank you for sharing your realizations. Yeah. And yeah, fortunate to have your association. You're a
I'm fortunate.
Rajavasi. Randagaon, somebody from Randagaon.
I'm not. I'm
very good.
Like it is very famously said in ISKCON, or you can say ISKCON Pitampura, which is in New Delhi. That I'm even worse than the insect which is found in poop in Nandgaon. So I'm worse than that. So don't associate me. Those insects are more luckier than that. Okay.
That's your humility. Ashok, you already said it, Shravanam. Yeah. Okay. Minu?
Well, we are already praying to Krishna's personal form, right? So it's something like, I believe, like Rahul said, he's not, like here now. So it's like, like we have emotions, Krishna also has emotions, and then some, the transcendental ones, right? So if we actually think about, hey, like I've eaten, like, so when I'm eating, like, has he eaten? That's why we offer him. So I'm sleeping, like, has he slept yet? So
yeah, you have a friend here, Aparna. She also thinks like you. One day she was all of a sudden she was at home and she was feeling, oh, maybe Krishna is missing me.
Krishna is missing me. That's a beautiful.
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, I guess, like that's one way you can actually practice, but there's other thing, but I don't have an analogy. So again, if I say this, it would be like a process, right? So service without, like bhakti, or let me put it this way, service backed up by bhakti yoga and jnana yoga, you can continue the service the consistency of service could be established or achieved.
Okay.
Yeah. So service, like if we cannot actually find a separate time to serve, it could be, like anything that we do, right? Especially in Kali Yuga, everything is mixed up. We don't actually do the traditional roles. So whatever we are doing, so, like in that, if we actually do it sincerely and, like in the name of him, like Krishnarpanam, it's like thanking him, right? So I'm doing this to serve him. So when you eat the food, this is something like you and I discussed the other day, Prabhu. So basically, like I'm nourishing my body so that, like when I have a sound body, I'll have a sound mind. When I have a sound mind, I can, like think of him, I can serve him.
Yeah.
Yeah. Again, I know it's a process. I don't have an analogy.
No, they're all beautiful points. Yeah, these are all beautiful points. Now, if I were to put whatever you said in one word, right? Emotions. You need to have emotions.
Correct. Yes.
Emotions for Krishna.
Yes.
Then it is possible to think of him 24 hours a day, all the time. Emotions basically. So you put you develop emotions for him. Most of the times we don't put emotions, right? We go to the temple and just out of a formality we bow down in front of the deities and then we rush. So but we don't make a conscious effort and put emotions. So like how Aparna was putting emotion, right? Oh, maybe Krishna is missing me, I should go and show my face to him. Or as Meenu said, I'm going to eat, but has Krishna eaten? So those kind of emotions. I mean, you may not offer that time, you don't have to do that, but just that feeling, that manasika, you can even do manasika offering. If you're not ready to cook something for Krishna that time, you can even do manasika offering. Okay. So, and Krishna accepts that. So he's basically Bhavagrahi Janardana. So he looks at your intentions and feelings and then he reciprocates. So yeah, emotions. So with emotions, it is possible to think of Krishna 24 hours a day. Yeah.
One thing remember says, if you can suffer the most, you can remember the Krishna most. Beautiful
point. Actually, in Prabhupada says in chapter 13, verse 8 to 12, there is a list of qualities, right? Amanitvam, Adambitvam, Ahimsa, Shanti Marjam, Acharya, Poshanam, that words, where Krishna talks about 20 qualities that devotees should develop. And if they develop these 20 qualities, they are dear to me. So in that purport, Prabhupada writes a sentence. It's very profound statement, actually. When I read that first time, I double checked, is it correct? Am I reading correct or not? So Prabhupada writes, unless one develops a pessimistic view of material life, it is not possible to think of Krishna. Unless one develops a pessimistic view of material life, it is not possible to think of Krishna. As Naresh said, right? What exactly you said?
If you cannot suffer the most.
If you cannot suffer the most. Yeah. If you cannot suffer the most, you cannot think of Krishna. Okay. Kunti Devi, she was praying to Krishna to give miseries.
Yes.
Otherwise, Krishna, I cannot think of you if there are no miseries. So give me miseries.
It's in our own experience also. When we go through the emotional suffering,
yeah,
we can feel ourselves.
Yes.
How much we feel close to Krishna.
Yeah, exactly.
There's actually very famous story. I'm not sure about the validation of the story, but there's also very famous story that one day Krishna goes and runs towards a tree.
Yeah.
He's like, hey, what are you doing? He's like, I'm not doing anything. Okay, I need you. Come, quick. So Krishna takes the tree and then started Krishna then chops the tree and starts carving the tree, and the tree is like screaming, but he's not complaining.
Yeah.
And then one time gopis ask the Basuri, like, Krishna loves us so much and we love Krishna so much, yet you are the one who's closest to Krishna. How is that possible? Then the Basuri explains that Krishna cut me
Yes.
He chopped me. He carved me.
Exactly.
I did not complain, and I'm the closest right now.
Yeah.
More closer than Radha Rani or Rukmani Devi.
Yes, I tolerated all those wounds, and then that's why I became closer to Krishna. Closest. Yeah. Yeah, that's a beautiful point. Yeah. I mean, when I read that statement in purport, right, Prabhupada, right, unless one develops a pessimistic view of life. I mean, in this world, we're all trying to become optimistic, and we look at things very optimistically, right?
Always on the positive note.
All day on the positive note. Yeah, always on the positive note. But yeah, I mean, that's a very profound statement. Unless one develops a pessimistic view of material life, it's not possible to think of Krishna. Yeah. So, yeah, anything else?
Prabhu, on that note, if we develop a higher taste, or, like when we actually enjoy Krishna, right? And our goals are clear, our priorities are clear. I don't even want to go to that extent of saying priorities and goal setting, right? I would just say that, like if you start enjoying or tasting, like Krishna and what, like it actually does, you immediately lose taste or interest, like in anything else or everything else this material, like world has to offer. So you don't have to program yourself to actually have a pessimistic view of, like this material world. It can, like the switch can be automatic when you actually do this. And once you have tasted this, that switch goes off. That's my, like personal, like view of it, I would say.
No, what you said is correct. Chapter 2, Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Vishaya vinivartante niraharasya dehinaha rasavarjam rasopyasya param društva nivartate. Krishna says, if you develop a higher taste, everything lower will become unimportant to you. Yes. Everything lower will become unimportant to you. So if you develop this higher taste of Krishna Bhakti, the materialistic things will naturally become unimportant to you. That is one way. But how many of us can do that? How many of us without difficulties, without having difficulties in our life, how many of us are ready to do bhakti and take shelter of God? Because it's a natural tendency to turn to God when there are difficulties in life. We all have seen in movies, right? When there are difficulties, they go to the temple and ring the bells very hard, as if there is a heavy wind coming. So it's natural to turn to God when there are difficulties. Otherwise, if everything is going fine, it is difficult. It is difficult to turn to God. Yeah. But if one is able to do that, fortunately, if they have taken birth in pious family, devotee family, based on their past life sukriti, then yes, they start with a higher taste from childhood, and then they reject the material life. Yeah. But for common masses, as Naresh Prabhu said, it is difficulties. And I am in Krishna consciousness because of difficulties. I started Krishna consciousness because of that. And I am continuing in Krishna consciousness because of difficulties. Yeah. And who doesn't have difficulties? Raise your hand here. Everyone. All of us have difficulties. She has her own problems. School homework or this thing, that thing. Everybody has problems. Yeah. For some people, the problems are grave, and for some people, not so grave. But see, there are 4 kinds of people who come to Krishna, right? One who is seeking wealth, one who is in troubles, one who is inquisitive about God, just curious, not so serious, but just curious. And then one who wants to cultivate knowledge. So, and it doesn't matter what kind of approach you are taking. What matters is whether you are connecting with Krishna or not. So, yeah, what you said is correct. if you have the higher taste, everything in the material world is of lower taste. But how many of us are practically able to do that?
Prabhu, just to clarify, I know, like difficulties are important, like how Kunti actually prayed. And likewise, we have Tamil poems where I've heard that, like those poets have actually asked for suffering so that, like they can constantly remember the God.
Yeah.
So there's no doubts about that. But my point was on the pessimistic view. All I'm saying is when difficulties have actually drawn you to the Lord, right? Once you've actually taken shelter and you've, like felt some peace in that. And once you've tasted that, that's when, like you can, once you've enjoyed it and like that is the greatest happiness there ever could be.
Yeah.
The other things can, like automatically get switched off, like the taste in other things, the material things. That's where I was coming from.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that is true.
One point I want to add is because when Sannyasi, what is his name? He emphasizes this answer, Jiva Jago. Then he talks about all that. A lot of the renounced, they sing that sloka every time just to remind themselves how miserable.
Wake up souls, wake up souls.
Yeah. How they are wasting time.
Yeah.
So every day almost they sing the song, they focus on that song, they listen that song quite a bit.
Yeah. Even I also heard. Who was that?
Why Yogin? Some starts with Y. Listen to his.
Now Yogendra Swami.
Now Yogendra.
Yes, correct. Yeah.
Quite emphasis on that verse.
Yes, I remember.
It goes.
Yeah.
Wakes up our soul.
Yeah. So, no, what you said is correct. But again, the going back to that, what Prabhupada wrote, right? Trying to find that sentence. Maybe Prabhupada gave more details here. Let me open on Veda base. It is easy to search, right?
The senior most sannyasis emphasize this law. More to the dispassion, vairagya.
Yeah.
How bad this material world is.
Yeah. Is the purport here? Yes. Unless we have a passive. Am I sharing? It's blocked. Okay. And maybe I'm not sharing also, right? Yeah. Let me share.
I think it's this one. Below. Yeah.
Huh?
Below the white.
This one? Okay. Unless we have a pessimistic view of this material life, considering the distresses of birth, death, old age, and disease, there is no impetus for our making advancement in spiritual life. Yeah, this is the important word here. See, there is no impetus for our making advancement in spiritual life. Impetus is like motivation, catalyst, driving force. So, Minu, are you seeing this?
Yes, Prabhu, I'm saying this. Yes.
Yeah. So let's see if there is anything before this. Yeah, Prabhupada is basically explaining about birth, death, old age, disease. But the essence is in these two lines. Unless we have a pessimistic view of this material life, considering the distresses of birth, death, old age, and disease, there is no impetus for our making advancement in spiritual life. And now let me go to that verse also. Oh, it's not 2.40. 2.40 is Neha Bikram Anajosti, right? About 59. So 2.59 is exactly what you said, Meenu. Vishaya vinivartante niraharasya dehinaha asavarjam rasopyasya param drushtva nivartate. though the embodied soul may be restricted from sense enjoyment, the taste for sense objects remains. But ceasing such engagements by experiencing a higher taste, he is fixed in consciousness. So this helps sense control. This helps sense control. But the reason why you want to control senses and whether to control senses or not, that impetus comes from your difficulties. That impetus comes from difficulties. If everything is going fine, in the life, right? You don't even think of controlling the senses or anything.
Like when I yesterday, good food.
Yeah.
I'm eating more.
Yeah.
You won't stop until there is a pain.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. So yeah. So yeah, I think this is more for sadhana, I would say, sense control sadhana. What what you are saying is applicable for sadhana. But to enter into Krishna consciousness or to hang in Krishna consciousness, to grow, to make advancement in Krishna consciousness, the impetus comes from difficulties. Impetus comes from difficulties.
The difficulties are given by Krishna.
Not necessarily.
To make it grow.
Sometimes yes, sometimes not. I mean, Krishna, if you are very sincere, then Krishna gives difficulties.
For devotees.
Yeah, for devotees.
For devotees, he gives a test.
Yes, he gives tests to make your faith stronger and stronger, and to test your own, faith, right? Yeah.
For non-devotees, his own karma.
His own karma. Yeah, correct. So is that clear, Meenu?
Yes, Prabhu. Yeah.
Yeah. You can agree to disagree.
Yeah, I guess, yes. Yeah, I was going to say something else, but then what you're saying makes sense. Yeah. So I think we'll agree to disagree, because there's one more where, Krishna says everything should be, your mind should be in such that you don't actually segregate, hey, oh, it's hot. Hey, this is cold. This is, unfavorable to me. This is, this is difficult. This is, happiness. So you are in a state of, constancy that, nothing affects you. I mean, these come and go, some things.
It's a prajna state.
Yeah. So everything exists, like how we exist. The good and the bad exists. Day and night exists. The front of the hand is lighter. The back of the hand is darker. Difficulties, are there. So it's basically the mind is telling us, hey, this is, unfavorable for me. This is difficult. Whereas, oh, I like this. I want this more. This is good for me.
Sankalpa,
So
yeah.
That constancy of the mind, the nature of the mind. If we can practice that, train our mind and practice that. In practicing, you can't, force or program yourself, right? It's just, again, faith in him. If you have, the trust in him, faith in him, he will actually, he is watching out for you. He's looking out for you. You can sail through difficulties. I'm not saying, while you're actually going through it, it's not difficult. It is, sometimes the difficulty could be so much that, let's say, it's some ailment, right? You're in absolute pain. It's so difficult to think about Krishna in the moment of, pain. It's very difficult. It's not so easy to, train your mind to even do that or practice that. But we can aim for that, that's what, Bhakti Yoga and Jnana Yoga combinedly could help us, get there.
Yes. Yeah. Without knowledge, this philosophy of bhakti can be, it can become blind faith, dry speculation, right?
Or anybody else can influence you. If you don't have, the knowledge, someone else from, some other belief, or, somebody who has not completely believed in Krishna can influence you.
Yeah, correct. Yeah.
Yeah, from material perspective, Harivilas Maharaj, he feels the absence of Prabhupada. actually.
Yeah.
Morning lectures.
Yes. Actually, did you listen to today's lecture? Oh, the most powerful lecture in the recent times. Huh? You missed it today? Okay. Oh, most powerful lecture today. I was there in the temple.
Every day powerful.
Yeah.
I'm getting only the powerful. Everything is every day powerful.
The bar is increasing every day. Yeah. So, yeah, very good. I'm very fortunate to have association of all of you. So it's for my own purification and advancement in Krishna consciousness. Thank you, everyone, for hanging in here. Yeah, you're all inspiring, in your own way. Somebody is putting emotions. Somebody is coming up with their own self-realizations, like Swarit, who is from Rajavasi, who's a Rajavasi, and someone like Meenu is coming with a lot of philosophy. And Ashok, when everything fails, go to Ashok.
These are so backup generating.
Yeah, and Naresh, has a lot of practical practical knowledge from Bhagavad Gita also. Yes, yeah, we are wrapping up the call now. Thank you everyone for joining. Hare Krishna. We'll see you all next week.